Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the DVC show, our 7 DVC Resorts in 7 Week series. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, Mr. Sean Falk.
Hi.
Ms. Jackie Gailey.
Hi, guys.
Mr. Steve Porter.
Hello.
And back on the controls, our associate producer, Fiasco.
Welcome home.
This is actually the first week of our DVC 7 and 7 series. Now, normally when we've done 7 and 7s in the past on our Diz Unplugged show, they've been 7 resorts in 7 days. We decided to do this on a weekly basis instead. So it's 7 resorts in 7 weeks. This is the first week. We're going to be talking about the Grand Floridian Villas this week. I want to underline the villas because I did a hotel review a few months ago on the Grand Floridian, and people got confused because I've been doing so much DVC stuff. They thought I was upset with the villas. I wasn't. This was the hotel review. So this is entirely different. Entirely different in every conceivable regard. This was different. So first we have a brief overview, a little overview video to show you of the Grand Floridian. So let's show you that. Okay, so some facts about the Grand Floridian. Want to make sure we put these in with each of these. First opened October 2013. This is a 6-year-old property. Not even at the time we're recording this. It's not even 6 years old. Opening sale price for the Grand Floridian. What do you think it was?
Oh, I think it
So a
was
little Price is
somewhere
Right.
around 188-ish.
Nope.
No.
Nope, it was 145.
I literally was gonna say that.
Of course you were.
No, I feel like, but like for a while I was doing I was writing like the history of some of the DVC resorts, so maybe I happened to remember. I've seen the chart about 1 billion times as like the stuff.
So $145 a point is where this started 6 years ago. Right now, if you bought direct through Disney, $245 a point.
Wow.
Oh, it's gone up $100 a point.
Yep.
Ooh.
And that's based on demand. Part of it's a smaller property. We'll get to that in a little bit. But and if you're confused by that, yes, technically this resort is sold out, but you can you can be put on a wait list for direct points from Disney. Why you would do that, especially on a property like this, I don't know, because the average resale price, if you go to dvcstore.com, one of our sponsors, official sponsor of this series, they're going for about $145 to $160 a point. Wow. So you can still get Grand Floridian when the contracts come up. They're not as abundant.
I know when I went and did the actual DVC tour maybe 3 months ago, and I was asking about the Grand Floridian, and I was told at that time by the Disney rep that not only was it sold out, they also had closed their wait list as
And that
well.
may be true.
Yeah.
That may be true.
They had been like, no, you can't even be added to the wait list.
I know that's
so
true.
backed up.
I know that's true of Grand California.
Yeah.
There are 147 total rooms. Deluxe Studios are about 374 square feet. 1-bedroom units, 844 square feet. 2-bedroom units, 1,232 square feet. And the Grand Villas are 2,800 square feet. Now, this is a separate building with its own check-in lobby off from the main building at the Grand Floridian. And this was where the changes, the differences were extraordinary. If you haven't watched my review of the Grand Floridian, please go and watch that. We'll make sure there's a link in the show notes right below this video, so you could check it out and see the nightmare that was the check-in experience at the Grand Floridian. It was you could not have had a more polar opposite experience than our check-in. Our check-in there. Now, our room was not ready when we got there. Now, Jackie actually spent the night there, and we'll get to that in a bit. But if you have ever stayed concierge, then you will know exactly what our check-in experience was like. Because, first of all, there was, in the concierge lounges, they have those amazing coffee machines that make the Nespresso, like the $25,000, $30,000 Nespresso machines. That's hanging out in the lobby, and that's available all day from like 7 a.m. to like 9 p.m., I believe. They have that just there. There were 2 cast members working their desks in the lobby to check people in. Both of them were concierge cast members. And it showed. It showed.
And they're gorgeous desks. They're
Well,
desks
the
with
whole
2
lobby.
chairs.
The whole lobby is the most. It is so comfortable. It's. What are you laughing at me for?
I'm not laughing.
Why?
No, I was just. Nothing. Go on. Go.
How can I can't?
No, I wasn't laughing.
I will say I thought, because I was like off to the side, and you cued Fiasco to come over, and I was like, oh no, like it's going south again. But then like you turn around with a smile, and I was like, oh thank God.
No, it was really good. It was excellent. A room wasn't ready, but we had mentioned we hadn't seen any of the other units.
Yeah.
And there was a 1-bedroom available, and they took us to go see and shoot a 1-bedroom. At this point, they did not know who we were. or what we were doing.
And they even were trying to see if they could get us into a 3-bedroom too.
Yeah.
Like they really tried to extend to really go over and above. And yeah, they didn't know who we were at all.
And just because of how some things, as future weeks get put up, you'll understand why. I have to make the disclaimer. They did not know we were there, in terms of that we were doing this. So this was really just kind of an authentic experience. Was not the case at all the resorts, but I'll be very upfront about that as we go through. But in terms of just that whole lobby, the check-in experience, the lobby being really comfortable, being really very sedate. Where the lobby in the main building, which is gorgeous. I mean, it's this 4 or 5 story thing, and it's very grand, and it's very,
It's bustling.
It's bustling.
Yeah.
This was a lot calmer.
Yeah.
But it maintains the same elegance.
It's very elegant.
Yeah.
Very elegant.
And I will say one of my favorite things about really the difference between the two, because I wasn't here with you guys for this particular room, but I've been in there before, and I've stayed previously several years ago in the villa side, and I'd like the main lobby perfectly fine. It's just you talk to some people, and if they're like it's not their style or it's whatever, and it does feel a little like Maggie Smith, when are we having high tea kind of thing.
Very Downton Abbey.
It's very that. And so it's like I feel a little, especially what I usually wear, I'm like I almost feel underdressed to be here. Like maybe this is something that's a little classier than what I am. And so then on the villa side, I love how they seemingly incorporated, and when I'm on the other side, I think Mary Poppins-ish. I like that they incorporated that into the other side and put that Disney character flair, but it also is still very gold and formal and regal. It's not like Art of Animation where there's a giant Ursula or something. It's still this, flagship resort
right. No,
style.
it's first rate across the board, but at the same time not stuffy.
It's not.
And
That's the
you don't
word.
feel
Yep.
you don't feel out of place.
Right, and I think there's a boutique hotel that I like staying at in Boston, and it has that same feel. It's very boutique
That's
style.
a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Now, we did eventually. We got into our room. It wasn't too long a wait
No.
from what I
No, because
remember.
check-in for DVC resorts is 4.
4, and we were in before
we were in
that.
a little earlier than that.
We were in before that.
Yeah.
And we had a studio, and overall, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
However, there was one big flaw, and we'll put a picture up here of it, assuming I'm pretty sure I have the picture. If I don't, then I just said that and nothing's coming up. But
I've got it if you don't.
okay, on the table, there's a small table and 2 chairs. On the wood table, there was a heat stain. What happens when you put something very hot on wood? You get that discoloration, that heat stain. That's what I call it. Maybe it's called something else. But obviously, some moron put a hot iron face down on this table. There's this massive stain there. Now, first of all, basic maintenance, you can fix that. There are ways to fix that without replacing the table. Or you just replace the table. It wasn't. It was just left there.
And even if it doesn't look perfect, I think you can still, people can appreciate, okay, clearly this got damaged, but they tried to make it look better. It's there was just no effort put forward to make it.
Exactly, and that was my problem. That and that did affect the overall rating for this resort. That it wasn't just that the problem was there; it's that it was easily fixed and just not done.
And you found the water, the bubbling on the cabinet, right?
Yeah.
There was some
in the
water
little
damage.
Kitchenette, yeah, in the little kitchenette, there was right in front of the sink and above the fridge, there was some bubbling of the wood that was there. And, I got to thinking more about that table, and I started looking at it, and I have a feeling that someone set like a wet towel on that table, because the same effect can happen from that too. That same white. So,
But no, it was
the
in the shape of an
water-
iron.
Was it in the shape?
Yes.
See, I
Yeah.
was looking at it
Yes.
and I didn't see
It was
that shape.
absolutely in the shape of an iron. You could tell by looking at it. It had that
Okay.
oblong triangular.
Okay,
type.
see, I didn't see that. Okay.
And go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it was weird things like that aren't really difficult to fix. That was so alarming, because they really could have, buffed it out. Even if they just do
There
a
are ways
quick
to fix
job,
it.
they could blend
So
it in.
that was the big ding for me. But when you compare it to my review of the hotel side, where I guess I coined the term body fluid couch, with the stains that were on it. If there's gonna be some wear and tear in a room, I would much rather it be that.
On the table.
But you were gonna say something.
Yeah, I think that like whenever you're at home or if somebody's talking about it and that kind of stuff, things like that, they can sound nitpicky or whatever, of like, oh, that's not a big deal and all that kind of stuff. But for the Grand Floridian itself as a hotel being the flagship, and then the Grand Floridian villas, while they're beautiful and while they're nice, at least I know from a resale side, I mean, right now we have like Old Key West package contracts and Saratoga contracts that can go anywhere from $89 all the way up to $100, whereas the Grand Floridian villas are starting at $165 essentially and can go all the way up to $180.
Well,
and so you're paying double, and so you're still deluxe, but you're paying double for that, and so those little things quickly add up, because you have to put that double the level of care into that, because you're charging people double to buy these contracts.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm sitting here taking a look at the picture. It is clearly an iron.
Oh, good.
Clearly
Okay.
an iron.
I don't know why it must have been the angle that I took my picture at, because I was like analyzing the living daylights out of that thing.
So, yeah, no, it was clearly an iron. But now, you
Good.
actually stayed in the room that night. So talk about just that part of the experience.
Absolutely. So I want to tell everybody that the Grand Floridian is probably my very favorite resort to begin with, just because I was married and honeymooned in a little Victorian town in the state of Washington, and so the Victorian style has always been my favorite. So when you walked into the lobby, the Mary Poppins style of things was just amazing, and when you walked into the room, they bring that theme into the room with all of the furniture that they have in there and the artwork on the walls, just little touches of die cut scenes from Mary Poppins. And it just made me feel like I had stepped right into that era of that film. And you have to understand, it's one of my favorites. So, we all have our resorts that kind of make our hearts go pitter patter. That's the one that does it for me. And so when I walked in, I felt like, gosh, I could move in to this gorgeous resort right now and live here and be really perfectly happy.
And we brought
So-
my mom over because Mom had done the Grand Floridian review with us a couple months before, and she was disappointed
Yeah.
with that. And she walked into that room and she goes, "Now this is what I expected."
Yeah.
And she loved the villas. She loved the villas, and so did I.
Yeah.
So did I. Now, what I did with this, just to keep everything consistent and fair where I could, our rating system for this, 1 to 10, with 50% of the score going to the room, the condition of the room. The check-in experience is 10%. The friendliness of cast is 20%, and the amenities and common areas are 20%. That's how I get the score. Overall, I gave Grand Floridian Villas an 8.1. And the reason that it's on the lower side there is because of that obvious damage that has just gone overlooked. That should have been pulled out buffed, fixed, replaced, whatever, but that should not have been there. So on that, I gave them a 7. The check-in experience, I gave a 10 because it was as flawless as a check-in experience gets. Friendliness of cast, a 9, and amenities in common area, a 9. And I think that's. I don't think would anybody disagree with that?
Not at all.
Was it how were the beds? Was the bed comfortable?
It was incredible. It was so I have a Tempur-Pedic bed at home. So whenever I stay in a hotel, it's somewhat of a challenge because no mattress is like a Tempur-Pedic. I slept like a baby. Absolutely comfortable. Crawled into bed, fell asleep in 3 seconds. So comfortable. Woke up, nothing hurt.
Now, which dining review is going up with this? Citricos?
That would be Citricos, and I'd also like to mention, as far as Grand Floridian is concerned, it has a kind of leg up on the other resorts as far as shopping is concerned, but also is kind of higher tier when it comes to dining. You do have tons more options.
I will say, though, that the shopping, while it's still better than most, is now that Commander Porter's is gone, it's like a little bit less than it used to be if you haven't been there since that store closed.
Yeah. I mean, there is, like, you got basin upstairs. You've got, there is a lot more shopping available, a lot of different stuff available.
And it's a real quick walk from the DVC building. Like, it's really nice because you can either walk on the side of the water, where you're walking along the shore in the pool and everything, or you can just stay under the covered pathway that goes right up to the entrance of the Grand Floridian. So it's really really nice.
It's nice because when it rains every day in the summer, that's a nice little way to get to the lobby without running through the rain.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's also so well decorated at like Christmas time and everything that like it's the place to be. I mean, when you have like the gingerbread house that they build inside the lobby area, it is nice to be able to be close to things like that. I enjoyed going over there and just listening to the guy play the piano and play Disney songs. So it's so convenient with how close it is to a lot of very laid back casual activities.
And I would, I suggested to people that if they had a reservation at the Grand, the hotel side, change it, move it over somewhere else because it wasn't worth it. But this is an option too. You can usually rent, you can get through Disney, you can get rooms in the villa side. I think it would be a much, much better experience than the hotel room was. I think my mother would agree with that as well. Of course, you can rent points through dvcstore.com. But availability at Grand Floridian is really, really, really tough because it's a smaller property. It's a popular property. And a lot of it books up 11 months out, especially the studios, by members who own there. So it is one of the more challenging.
And also, I mean, I like that there's a spa there as well. I think that fits the clientele of the resort, and it is very nice whenever you're going to Disney to have that. There's a couple of other resorts that have, not necessarily even the full spa, but you can get massages and that kind of thing. But this is like one of the full service spa areas that's like very nice and very, very pretty on property.
Yeah.
Yep. So overall, 8.1 for the Grand Floridian Villas. And, this was even still, this was another one of those experiences where I go and go, gosh, I really should get a contract here. Which happens to me at pretty much every DVC resort I step foot on.
I will say from the perspective of, I know I'm not usually on DVC shows, but I do a lot with our working with DVC store, and so I know a lot about the resale contracts that come through. If something comes through for Grand Floridian, it sells instantly. like literally less than a minute or two. As happened literally yesterday, we had a 240 point come through, and it was sold within 3 minutes, I think, of me posting.
Yeah, no,
that it
it's
was there.
crazy.
We had a full offer. Somebody offered full price, and it was gone as quickly as it came in. So when you see it, like usually 240 points, people are like, oh, like I need to think about it or talk about it because it's a lot to add on, and they're like, that's
Not with Grand.
not with the Grand Floridian. So if you want it and you see it, you have to buy it right away.
And one way to be, to do the plug, you can get text alerts from DVC Store every time a new listing gets added. And if you just send a text message to
888-111. So if you text 888-111,
you got to text the word for the Grand. It's
For here, it's Floridian.
Floridian.
So I guess we'll actually do that with each video that we do. So yeah, if you are interested in getting the Grand Floridian, you can text the word Floridian to 888-111 and choose your use year for that.
Well, it's important to note, you will get a confirmation text back. There's a link in that you have to click. And that's where you're going to put in what use years you want to be notified on. So if you want Grand Floridian and the use year doesn't matter, just say no preference, or say I want to know if there's a February, a March, or September.
Right.
You can do up to 3 use years on that. So,
and you'll get it instantly. I mean, that's how the last one sold that came in 2 days ago. A text message went out, someone opened it, and within 2 or 3 minutes, they had already bought it. So it didn't even get to be advertised. I did end up putting it on the Facebook page, but they let me know, hey, it's already got offers on it, like as soon as it got put up. So those text alerts, especially for a resort like that, that's why that is put in place, and that's why that exists. So
exactly. So, all right. So there you have it. That's our look at the Grand Floridian villas, and that will do it for this week. Next week,
Wilderness.
Copper Creek.
Yep.
Copper Creek, and probably a review you're not going to want to miss. So that's going to do it for this week, folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week with another episode of our 7 DVC Resorts in 7 Week series. Have a good one.